Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's time for Startdeliver webinar. And today we're talking about something I'm super excited about. It's about AI and customer success. It's a hot topic in general. And today we're going to dig into it deep with a big focus, of course, on our domain, customer success. So we have a 30-minute webinar together. We're going to record everything, and you'll get the recording after the webinar. So not to worry if there's something you want to revisit after this live webinar. There will also be some time in the end of the webinar for Q&A. You can post questions in the Zoom tab for questions. Feel free to do it along the way here, but we'll pick up them in the end, basically. Also, of course, I'm available offline if you want to chat more on this topic. I suspect there might be some more questions coming up shortly. I'm Johan Nilsson. I'm a founder and CEO of Startdeliver. We make a customer success platform for you who don't know us by now. We also are co-founders of Impact Academy, a global academy for customer success, managers, leaders, anyone working in customer success, basically. So this is what we do. Today, we're going to focus on this area of AI. And as probably everybody listening in have paid attention to, it is something everybody's talking about. And it is significant. It's going to change a lot of things. But I also think this cartoon here is quite spot on also where we're at in some cases, where basically one side of the communication, someone is using it to elaborate on a bullet point, and on the other side, someone is using it just to get back to that bullet point. So I think this puts a little bit focus on where some people are working with AI today. But let's not get into that situation with our customers, and I'm going to share a little bit about what we see is happening with AI and where we see real use cases right now, and of course eventually where we think things are going. But before we get into the practicalities and to show the real use cases, let's step back as well and put this a little bit in perspective, because I think, like any new technology, everybody wonders what's going to happen here. Where are we going? What's going to change? How will this impact me? How is this going to impact us? And so on. And I think a very brilliantly put question from Jeff Bezos here is to flip it and say, basically, what will not change? What do we think will not change in the coming 10 years? And I think from our side, our humble opinion here is that we believe customers, working with customers, since trade began, who knows when, I think companies, businesses have been working with customers. And I suspect that's not going to change whatever ever happens to AI and other things. So customers is going to be a thing. And in customer success, as we are making customers successful, basically helping them achieve their goals, helping them achieve their desired outcome, I think that's not going to change either. But what will change most likely is how we do this. So I think still it's highly relevant to be in the domain of customer success. I think that's going to be even more important, even though things will change, and we will definitely change some things that we're doing right now. So I think it's good to have that perspective when we go into this. On the other side of things, as we do a lot of, we meet a lot of organizations, we meet a lot of SaaS companies, we meet a lot of customer success organizations. One of the most common questions I get asked is, how many customers can a CSM manage or handle? How big should the portfolio be, the book of business? It's one of the most common questions I get asked. So back to customers are important, being customer-centric is important, but it's also this question now, how do we manage this in an efficient way? Another question I will get a lot is also, should we charge for customer success? Should it be included? Should we charge for it? And also here we have to consider also the efficiency aspect of things here. So we want to be customer centric. We want to have full focus on the customer. That's what customer success is all about. But we also have to take into account how do we do this in an efficient way. You could in a theory you could have one customer success manager on each customer, but that wouldn't be very efficient, and that would probably break your business model. So there is this efficiency coefficient and the customer centricity coefficient that we need to put into the formula. So customer centricity, it's going to keep being very important as we go into this AI age. Efficiency, especially nowadays when economy is a little bit tougher in many areas, efficiency is top of mind for anyone want to build a scalable SaaS business. So we need to be very, very much focused on customer centricity, but we need to also be very, very much focused on efficiency. And only when we do both of these things, we have a scalable SaaS company, basically. And here we see the AI being a huge thing, because I think we can do both, basically, with AI. And I'm going to share a few things, both on a very high level, but I'm going to go so deep into some practical here and now things that you can take with you and do already today. But if we start our perspective on customer success and how that's going to be impacted by AI, we think four different things going to happen faster, or it's going to take longer time on some areas, but this is where we see things going. Number one here is that reactive becomes autonomous. Basically, everybody in customer success feels in some way they are still reactive. We think that's going to switch into that's where AI is going to really play a big role on automating things and having basically offloading us all these reactive things that we're doing, also offloading a lot of these admin things that we're doing, basically. We also see here how reactive, in some ways, customer success are doing support, as well as we have the support team doing support. So we think those fields will merge as we go forward here. The other part here is we believe collaboration is going to be key as we grow with our customers. Continuous collaboration. The customers, really successful customers, want to do more with us, and it's going to be this collaborative work together with the customer. It's going to go through different models. It's going to go through different type of way of communicating together. But this collaboration, where you kind of build together, is going to be a key thing as we go forward. We see that already now, and we see that accelerating and becoming even more important as AI enters our domain. Another thing that's been a challenge and people have been trying to handle for a long period of time is how should we manage experience on a wide customer base. You have this old thinking where you have the low touch customers. We cannot afford giving them a good experience. And then we have the high touch, the white glove customers. We give them the best experience. This can also change now where you have AI. You can basically go down even on user level and tailor-made experiences for each user, not to mention each customer, and all based on their experience, what they prefer, their appropriate experience, and what type of company they are, what type of user they are, and so on. So that's going to be a different ballgame altogether. And that's only because we haven't had the resources and abilities to do those things yet. So one-to-one at scale is another theme that we see coming through with AI backing us up. And the last box is, I think, something we've been trying to get to for a very long time. And I think this is going to really enable the whole customer success team, the whole organization, being much more focused on delivering on business goals, on outcomes for our customers. And that's going to make us a revenue engine. If we tie expansion into customer getting more value from our platform, helping them achieve that, we're going to elevate our discussions with our customers. And we're going to use the human-to-human interactions to be more creative, to be more close to the customer, build a relationship. And that's going to make the customer success team, I suspect, an even bigger revenue engine than the new business side. So I think super exciting things if we look a little bit ahead here, what's going to happen in customer success. But I also want to go down to the here and now. What can you do now in the near future? So I'm going to go through a few concrete examples and share a little bit what we're doing ourselves, what our customers are doing, what customers are doing in the Startdeliver platform. Because I think we need to also realize where we are, right? And this is a survey we did a few months back, where we basically interviewed a lot of CSMs, and they had to list what they spend most time in. And even though customer success has gone a long way, we are still very much doing the reactive work, basically. It's still a lot of troubleshooting, still doing some sort of support, maybe high level support, still a lot of inbound requests and emails coming at us. So we really need to realize that this is today's situation. And I think this is what we want to change, and this is what we want to unlock, basically. And to do that, I think a big win that you can do already right now is that you can start owning your calendar. And owning your calendar is all about managing all the meetings you have, both the preparations to the meetings, but also the follow-ups and how you manage the whole calendar, basically. And these can be, of course, in-person meeting. It can be the calls and so on. I'm going to focus on that part because you can use AI in a bigger sense there. And I assume everybody's using AI note takers right now. At least if you join any meeting, there will probably be more note takers than people in the meetings nowadays. So I assume you do that already. Otherwise, I highly recommend that, of course. But I think what we're still missing is to leverage the AI note takers in a great way, in a more seamless way in customer success. We partnered with the team at Garba. They make a really nice product for this. But as you saw there, there's of course other options as well. And I think the main thing here is to make the AI note taker. They shouldn't create more work. You shouldn't copy pasting things, and you shouldn't be having to work in parallel systems. They should be seamless, integrated, and you should just be able to plug and play your meetings, and then all the other things should just follow along. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into that because I think this is where it makes all the difference if you get this right. So for instance, from an AI note taker, you will get great summaries, you will get great action points, if you use the right ones, of course. And from there, you basically want directly to get actions. So in Startdeliver, if you connect these note takers, you will get immediate actions, you will get the whole recordings, the summary and everything, the notes, everything into Startdeliver, and you can directly create your tasks. And these actions or tasks can be, of course, for yourself, but it can also be that you want to delegate them. Maybe you have a product team or a tech team or someone else, services team that needs to do things on as well. You can immediately delegate them. Maybe there's some tasks for the customer. You can also delegate them to the customer. And you can also, of course, automate the follow-ups. If things haven't been done on the task you delegated, then the system will follow up and remind them to do basically their tasks. And you will get the perfect prep for the next meeting. You will have the summary, you will have the action points, and you can basically, before the next meeting, send a quick reminder. These are the things that are remaining. These were the things we said we would do last meeting, and so on. So to get this working, I think is a huge win, and it's going to offload a lot of the admin work around managing your calendar, managing all your meetings, and it's going to make you much more efficient, and you can focus on the meetings. It also, our experience here is that you get better results when you have this automated, basically. You get the things actually happening. So that on how you go from you basically make the meetings more efficient. But there's another win here, that basically if you use these AI note takers in a smarter way, you will get better outcomes. Again, we use Garba here as an example. You can basically, in these note takers, you can have your playbooks. So you can basically say, this is how we conduct a business review. This is how we do an onboarding meeting. This is how we do a check-in, or whatever you call your different type of meetings. And you can instantly, as a CSM, see how did I follow the plan here? Did I check in on how they're doing on their business goals? Did I ask around on what's going on in their business? Did I do all these things that we should be doing every meeting with our customers? So you get basically instant feedback on how you're performing, which a lot of times is missing in the customer success teams. But you also, of course, get more things. You get the sentiment of the meeting. You get maybe sometimes we walk into a meeting where the customer is upset and so on, and that they pick up that. But you want to get this data collect this data into one tool. So in Startdeliver, you of course get this directly, and also if you're ahead of customer success, which been, I think, one of the big challenges is to coach a team of customer success managers that maybe have 3, 4, 5 calls a day with a lot of customers. How am I supposed to be on top of that? And if you have these note takers helping you analyze the meetings, and you have your playbook, and you can identify the meetings, the quality of the meetings, that's another insight to how we're doing as a team. So basically, you can look at the CSM's calendar last week or yesterday, and you can go through how did the meetings go. Is there any red flags? Maybe there was some bad sentiment in that meeting. Maybe we went off trail with our playbook. So maybe I should dig into that specific meeting. On the other hand, other meetings might be going really well. So I can just celebrate that with the team and say, hey, good work on that one, and great, we're having progress on that meeting. So I think here you have a big coaching opportunity, and also a knowledge sharing opportunity where you can utilize this in a much better way. So this is a way to leverage and get a better working week, basically, as a customer success manager, and of course as a team lead or a head of customer success. Moving on, another thing that I think is a game changer, and something that's going to happen it's going to change if you're not doing this already, if you're not working with us. So I think this is where you can really save a lot of time and become in an instant much more on top of what's going on with your customers. Anyone today have a lot of data. Most likely you have a lot of data on your customers. You have them in your own SaaS application. You have it in all these other tools that you have, but you probably are not leveraging this data in a great way from a customer success point of view. And with Startdeliver, we connect all these data points, and we basically, with our AI, we summarize things on how we summarize this into insights. Because you need the context here to be able to use AI and an LLM in your favor. Without that, you basically you don't have the full context. So having the context, and you have the amount of data we have here, if we just connect all these sources, it's enough, basically. So just to give a few examples here. So when you connect all this context, and you put on the AI to summarize things, you basically can identify directly, instantly, and it's a freshness to this. You don't want to look at the things that happened 6 months ago. You want to pay attention to things that are closer in time, and get instant signals on how things are going. Do we have some good signs? Do we have some warnings? Do we have some potential risks, basically? And as a customer success manager, as the responsible for this portfolio of customers, I want to have that on the tip of my finger, so I can immediately understand what's happening here now. So you get the insights, but you also get like a summary on why is this customer having negative signs right now? Why, or on the opposite side, or why are things good here? And of course, you also get suggestions here now to what should I be doing now? If this is a negative sign, maybe I want to launch like an onboarding, a turnaround program to get them up and going again. Maybe I need to set an appointment with the stakeholders here to kind of revisit why they are a customer in this first place. So you both get the summary, you get the notification, you get the sign, but you get the summary on where we are, and then you get suggested actions. So this saves a lot of time. Instead of having to analyze things yourself, you can just take action immediately from these insights. And also in our model, you can fine tune things, of course. So you get the power of our AI, but you can also fine tune things, and maybe you want to have different levels, put in different criteria for different customer segments and so on. So you have a fine tuning that you can do as well here. But this is going to be huge. And what's I think the most important thing here is that you basically use all the data you have. You get the real-time insights. You get them right away, but you also have something that will constantly learn, basically. So when we see several times the same pattern of a bad fit customer, it will be flagged as bad fit for you. So you can have a discussion internally, maybe with sales, maybe with your manager. Why did we sign up this customer now? Maybe we should revisit the criteria for what's good fit, what is success potential in our customer base, and so on. So these insights will help you also refine. Maybe you have some upstream problems, basically, in your churn, that you're signing up the wrong type of customers. So I think it's a huge game changer. It's going to help you here and now, but it's also going to help you communicate things internally on what's going on with the customers. So insights, great. I talked earlier about this continuous collaboration. And I think that's going to be another area where I think things are going to change a lot, and where we see a big opportunity to use AI as a lever to develop the relationship with the customer, to also basically help them get more out of our platform. And collaboration, I mean, that's a big word. To make it more practical, in Startdeliver, we have a functionality called shared space, where you can invite your customer to a shared space where you basically have, for an onboarding, you might have a plan for the onboarding. You have steps. You have these are the phases in onboarding. These are the to-do lists. You can share these tasks between yourself internally, with partners, with the customer. So it's a collaboration space where you basically project manage. You can also share data, insights on how things are going. You can chat. You can upload the files, documents, and so on. So all these things you send by email, forget about that. Put that in one place. The customer will have one view on how things are going, especially like the stakeholders, the C-levels, maybe the people who purchase the product. They will see also how things are going. So it's a great way to create this joint accountability where we're in it together. We are doing things on our side, you're doing things on your side, and we can see how we progress. That's what it is today. And it's by nature, this is an async way of working with the customer. And it's basically 24/7 available. So the customer can work whenever suits them. Some of our customers, they are working on the weekends, on the evenings, on the other time zones, and so on. So it's a perfect way to have flexibility on this collaboration way of working. But here we see a big thing where you can basically flip the business review. Instead of us having to chase the customer and get them into a meeting and present our ideas and our review of how things are going and what we should be doing together, we can use this space as well to help them decide what they should be doing. So we have the stakeholders there, we have the people there, and here is a great way to market or to show them other things they could be doing with us. So it can be basically they just hit the milestone, maybe they're finished the onboarding, or they have adopted the platform to a certain level, and we can just propose for them some new steps, some next steps. And they can choose themselves. Okay, this sounds interesting. We might want to go down this track, or no, this is not for us. We want to go more to this track. And they can prompt and get more information. So they can basically get other social proof. We can share social proof. Basically, we can share case studies. We can share with them what other customers similar to them, similar situation, size, industry, whatever. Here are some other things that customers are doing with us that might be interesting for you. So the customer themselves can basically pick and choose between other things they could do with us, and get them to do it on their side, on their time, when they are available. Maybe they're sitting in a Monday meeting, or they are in the evening, whatever they are. they can actually on their side decide what to do with us as a next step. And of course, they can launch a project. We want to start working with your marketing add-on, or we want to start doing more in your finance tool, or whatever it is. They can basically on their own set things in motion, and we will get notified, and we'll get tasks, and we'll get this going. So it's a way to flip the business review, make it available for them, and make them inspired to do more with us. So this is a way to become even more efficient in this outgoing, proactive work that's key for customer success as well. So that's the last part of the presentation. I'll just reiterate. We see things happening with AI in a big way. All these reactive things that we're stuck in today, like following up on meetings or answering questions, prepping, admin, all those things we can become more automated. We can utilize the strength of AI. We can use it also in this continuous collaboration work with the customers. We can tailor-made the message down to user level if we have the full context. And last but not least, I think everybody in the customer success team can switch a lot of their time into doing more of the proactive, outgoing work, which will generate revenue for the company. So I think that's big for us, that's big for customer success, and it's going to be a major thing going forward. Thanks for checking in, and we'll be back with more on AI and customer success soon. All the best.